presented by State Farm. Wade and LeBron are the wingmen. Chris Bosh is out there with Haslem, and it's Chalmers in at the point. And for the Bulls, Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah, they're inside. Rip Hamilton out there with Watson, and it's Dang in at the three spot.
I don't think that was the shot they had in mind, but they'll take it.
Well, the Bulls had the best record in the entire NBA a season ago, and one of the reasons was that they were playing in the weaker Eastern Conference, and they really dominated their opponents in the East.
Wade gets called for the reach. That is his first foul of the game. And stolen by Chalmers.
And look at how quickly he got his hands in the way of that pass.
Haslem, covered by Noah. Haslem can't get it to go. Going back to the Bulls, it was never really close near the end as far as them taking the top spot in the East.
And it may have made them, Kevin, a bit rusty heading into the postseason as they didn't look their sharpest at times against the Pacers, but they were able to right the ship anyway.
You saw that series very close. That was an interesting first-round series.
Very much so, and I thought the Pacers really fought and competed hard, and it was a good matchup for the Indiana Pacers. A young team, but had some matchup advantages there and made it tough for Chicago.
Watson kicks to Boozer. Hits the jump hook. Here's LeBron. Clark, this offense has really been clicking.
No doubt about it, giving the defense all kinds of trouble.
And they're playing with so much energy offensively. The ball is really moving.
I don't think you want to make too much of a big deal over it, but you look at the numbers in the NBA Finals, and LeBron just wasn't himself late in games. Some of that you have to credit to Dallas. I still think he was a factor on the floor, but not in the way he wanted to be.
Mike Miller's checked in for Miami.
Well, Clark, you brought up LeBron in that final series against Dallas. It was really interesting. He just didn't attack the rim like he had previously. Some of that was the Dallas defense, but I think some of it, too, was that he lost confidence in his jump shot. And Dallas, as a result, really packed the paint and made it difficult for him to find a driving lane.
Boy, after the first three misses, I thought they'd get one here, but they still can't connect.
I'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with Tom Thibodeau. Doris?
We talked about their offensive game plan and hinted that they'll be displaying a lot of different looks in their offensive sets. He said in order to beat a team with this kind of defense, they'll have to keep things fresh and keep them guessing each time they come down the floor. Guys?
Terrific, Doris. Thanks. They put a lot of thought into how they're going to match up against the opposing defense, guys.
Well, one of the things you got to do here, Kevin, and Steve, you can't afford empty possessions against this team. You've got to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, that's for sure, Clark. You got to make them count because you know you're not going to get a lot of open looks. So make sure you make the defense move the ball, try to get good looks, and make them pay. Well, you could see last season with the big three that early on offensively they couldn't quite figure it out. But as the season went on, they got more and more comfortable with each other. And I thought by the end of the year, they played pretty well together. And that's what he does. I mean, he takes advantage. If you're going to play poor defense, he's going to get a hoop easily.
Wade dishes to Miller. Back to Wade. Moving the ball well. Goes up. And again, LeBron James. LeBron's now got 6. And you're right, Steve, about what you said in regard to the Heat. You know, anytime you bring new guys together, there is a feeling out period. But, Clark, obviously this was an extreme case.
Yeah, I agree with both of you there. I mean, it just takes a lot of time and massaging when you have that much star power coming together for guys to figure out their roles and then accept their roles and excel in it. That's a three-pronged process.
A lot.
Yep.
A lot to deal with.
LeBron James.
Well, here's a little factoid for you. With LeBron switched to Miami, guys, he was the first reigning MVP to change teams since Moses Malone back in 1982. Crazy stuff. And remember what happened when Moses Malone changed teams. That team, Philadelphia, went on to win the NBA title in '83.
With Dr. J.
Dr. J and Mo
Yes.
Cheeks.
Unbelievable.
That was my rookie year. So I
saw it
remember
firsthand,
banging
didn't
heads
you?
against those guys.
Sledgehammer!
That should be illegal, Kevin.
You got to wonder about the effort defensively. They did not get back there.
Yeah, you know what? A beautiful finish one way or the other, though. When you look at when the Bulls' fortunes turned, I mean, getting that ping pong ball to bounce their way in 2008, which ended up being Derrick Rose. That's a player that can change the direction of your franchise in a hurry, and he has.
Clark, back to the point you made, seems to be how it always, Steve, works out for the Chicago Bulls.
Well, how about the odds of them getting Derrick Rose? About 1.7%. So they got lucky, but they took advantage, and Chicago has really built its team around Derrick Rose. Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down. You know, you got a fingertip on it, but not enough to control the pass coming in that fast.
So now that's twice we've seen the offense collapse. That's back-to-back empty trips because of turnover.
Yeah, and that's going to be a problem because now all of a sudden you start turning the ball over. You lose all offensive rhythm and flow.
Boy, that was a nice little finger roll to finish the play. Splendid finish.
Wade outside. Takes the three. They get the rebound. Kicks to Miller. Over Hamilton. The shot no good. Hamilton with some nice D. And they're pushing it up. And stolen by LeBron. And here's the break. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's the break. Hamilton covered by Miller.
There's a pretty play. The feathery lob pass in there. Nicely done.
That's exactly what it is. Laid it up there beautifully.
Yeah, no mistakes on either end. Great touch on that layup.
Dang with it. 8 points for him. No good from Hamilton.
So hard not to go for it when you see that chance at the alley-oop.
Bet he wishes he hadn't, though.
I love how relentless he is. I mean, he just continues to come at you all night.
The offense coming free and easy as we wrap up the first quarter. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. Here's Chalmers looking for his first bucket of the game. In a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. And for Miami, look at who they've got out there. We've got James Jones. Haslam's out there with Joel Anthony. Then it's Shane Battier, and it's Chalmers in at the point. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Guys, the summer before last, on President Obama's birthday, he invited a number of great NBA players, past and present, to the White House. Among those in attendance, Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah. They played a pickup game for the entertainment of injured troops, and Rose said it was a terrific experience. I don't see how you can beat it. You get a special invite to play ball with the president and be the first ones to do it at the White House. I don't see how you could beat that, guys.
All right, Doris. How about that? Pretty special.
Well, of course, the president, a fan of the game and a knowledgeable fan in that, and the Chicago guy. I'm sure it was a treat for him, too. Old school, old-fashioned, one-hand power jam.
Just like you, Clark, tried and true.
That's all he needed to do, just taking care of business out there.
You know, you take a look at the makeup of the Heat and the offensive numbers last year. Not a ton of assists and a lot of free throw attempts. FPAs, we call them. Seemed like they just played to their strengths, and a lot of that was isolating their star players.
Miami calls their first time out of the game. Clark, you mentioned that stat about the Heat. Steve, surprising they didn't have more assists.
Well, they didn't have a true point guard running things. Mike Bibby was more of a jump shooter, same with Chalmers. But I think a lot of it is that they play very isolation-heavy basketball, as Clark mentioned.
Here's what Miami's going with right now. Chris Bosh has checked in for Joel Anthony. LeBron comes in for Udonis.
Well, he took that one to the rack with some purpose.
I'll say beautiful dunk there, Steve.
Yeah, how about the agility? The power and the skill are impressive.
And LeBron throws it down hard.
Well, this fella can rise up there with the best of them.
Just a crazy finish, guys.
He's one of the few players with the athleticism to pull that off. Now, the Bulls had to battle some injuries last year, but it didn't slow them down one bit in their rampage through the East. Carlos Boozer missed time early. Joakim Noah missed a large chunk of the season as well, but it didn't slow them down.
Watson, the pass to Hamilton. And it's Miller picking him up. The three. Again, the miss by Dang. Stevie talked about the injuries. Boozer, Clark, you come to
And that's not supposed to happen. Come on now. You're not supposed to throw an alley-oop from that kind of distance. Come on.
And then Clark to dunk it with authority.
Man,
how about the communication between the teammates? That was an impressive display. Well, I like what the Bulls have done the last couple of years. They really put a nice team together. Carlos Boozer, a great scorer and rebounder, down on the block, but he has helped defensively with his teammates, and they really seem to work well together on that front line.
The Bulls leading by 6. Hamilton kicks to Dang. Blocked. Miller inside. He's covered by Watson. Now the Bulls with it. They've led by as many as 11 points.
And that's the problem when you don't protect the ball.
Exactly. When you surrender the ball like that, you put your defense at a huge disadvantage.
They grab their own miss. Battier kicks to Miller. They shoot again. And the rebound goes to Boozer.
You gotta like the interior defense, guys. Really strong, protecting the rim.
Dang dishes to Hamilton. And count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for one more. Boozer, Steve, surrounded by a cadre of long, shot-blocking bigs. And, Clark, that can focus now him on providing muscle.
Yeah, exactly. It gives him a chance to do his job and to play the role carved out for him. And, right now, scoring and rebounding, that's where he makes his way. You pair him with defenders and shot blockers, that's a pretty strong combination, Kevin.
It is. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Guys, a lot of the talk last year was about Coach Tom Thibodeau's defensive game plan, and rightly so. They were one of the most consistent defensive teams in the entire NBA. But an overlooked storyline for the Chicago Bulls was the motion offense Coach Thibodeau introduced as well. Derrick Rose said the offense is great. If I don't have the ball, I'm always moving. Everyone is moving, and that makes us hard to guard. Guys?
Always great to hear from you, Doris.
And with the players on that team, they could run the motion offense.
Well, I think they have the talent, guys, especially with Derrick Rose running the show. Very tough to guard him and 4 other players who are cutting and moving at the same time.
Wade for 3. Another miss by Wade.
Nice little rebounding advantage they're enjoying here.
Yeah, and that's the reason they've got this big lead. I mean, they're dominating the glass and really being tougher than their opponent.
Will it go?
There isn't anybody in the building that didn't appreciate that throwdown.
Well, Steve, that's as fancy a finish as you could possibly get.
A serious degree of difficulty on that one.
There was a lot of speculation last year about Dwayne Wade thinking of going to his hometown Chicago. But it turns out he was the guy orchestrating the big 3 in Miami.
And he can't get the first one. Mike Miller's checked in for Miami. Chalmers comes in for James Jones. So he comes up empty, missing both.
Wow. If I were a coach, I could just only shake my head. They have been absolutely awful from the line this quarter.
And he makes the first. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. 24 seconds left in the first half. Here's Chalmers. The shot's good on the assist by Wade. Chalmers has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Hamilton lays it up and banks it in. And the Bulls lead by 15. And Hazel kicks to Bosch. Stolen by Noah.
Tried to thread the needle there. It wasn't there.
And we finished one half of basketball.
It's been a good one for Hamilton.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. Here's LeBron.
Well, the big story, of course, a year ago for Miami was the formation of the big three, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. It took some time for those three to click. Eventually, they figured it out.
Luol Deng and Carlos Boozer, they're in the forward slots. Watson out there with Richard Hamilton, and it's Noah in at the 5, roaming the paint. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago.
Very few players have his explosiveness. I mean, man, can he ever fly to get to that rim?
Get back to what you said about Miami. They struggled out of the gate. They were 9-8, but after a rough November, they kicked it on in December. And Clark, I think really the game that kind of spun them around was their first LeBron appearance in Cleveland in a win early December against the Cavs.
Yeah, that was an impressive win. I recall that. That was almost like an NBA Finals type atmosphere in terms of the media attention and so forth. But in that month, they went 15-1 and really seemed to find their rhythm. Quite honestly, never looked back.
And here's the fast break. Trying to go big for the alley-oop, but good defense got in the way. Wade passes to Bosh. Free throw line jump shot. And it's Miami with another.
He is just so good from that range, guys.
You know, never mind with the height advantage he had there.
Watson's shot is good. Watson's got 12 in the game.
Strong move against a much bigger defender.
Yeah, he's definitely given up a few inches, all right, Steve, but didn't seem to bother him.
From about 16. Rebound by the Bulls.
Carlos Boozer signed that big free agent contract with Chicago before last season and then broke his hand before the year even started. But he came back, got healthy, and became a strong presence, and the Bulls had a great season.
And the Heat all-time here.
You know, just to follow up on what you said there, Steve, I mean, injuries have been an issue for Boozer over his career. I mean, he gives the Bulls a low-post presence, and they've needed that for years, so I think it can be a good fit for him.
LeBron dishes to Haslam, shoots, and it's Chalmers, that time on the assist by Haslam. Chalmers has got 5 points so far.
What a marvelous job they've done of sharing the basketball. A ton of assists.
Well, they know where each other is all the time. They're moving the ball, just finding the open guy. Nobody seems to care who scores.
He's covered by Watson. Wade gets to Chalmers. Nice movement. LeBron against Boozer. And that is good. 27 points for LeBron.
I think he's done his part to try to keep him in this game. It's been a solid effort from him, guys.
Watson's shot is good.
He's so graceful around the rim. Sometimes you forget how strong he is.
LeBron gets to Haslam. Back to LeBron. Passes it to Haslam. To the paint. It's stolen by Deng.
The water's been choppy for him since halftime. A superb alley-oop there. Prime time play.
Well, they had that one standing by, just waiting to pull it out.
Now, there's definitely a sense of understanding between those two teammates, that's for sure.
A lot of wins were piled up in last season's campaign by the Bulls, and a big part of that was their work on the backboards. I mean, they were a glass-eating team, far and away the best rebounding differential in the league. An excellent game we've seen from LeBron. He's got 27 points and 2 steals.
Well, he's done so many things well out there. Tough to decide where he's been at his best.
You're right, Steve. I mean, he's done it all well. Scoring, defending, you name it, he's handled it.
Joel Anthony's checked in for Miami. Miller comes in for Udonis Haslam. Well, back to the Bulls in Chicago for just a second. They really asserted their will on the boards. You're right, Mark. And, Steve, I know that was a huge portion of their winning season.
Yeah, they've led the NBA with a +6 per game rebound margin. Nobody else in the league even came close to that mark, and that's why they were such a good team.
Here's Boozer. Chalmers knocks it loose. The Heat trailed by 16. Wade kicks to Anthony. Miller outside. Kept alive. Another shot. And LeBron with the basket, the assist by Chalmers. That's now 32 points for LeBron.
Well, they are getting out rebounded here. It's showing up on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to win this game.
Boozer picks him up. James. Up and in on the layup. LeBron's now got 11 in the second half. Here's Watson. Tries to keep it alive. And he recovers it. Another block. And here's Wade. He has 5. And here they come. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. And he hits it and gets hacked on the play. A 3-point possibility if he can convert the free throw. And the Heat with some changes. Shane Battier is checked in for Wade. And Cole subbed in for Mario Chalmers. That's good from Hamilton. The Heat trail by 15. LeBron passes to Battier. Fires the 3. Snatched up. That's tipped. Here's LeBron. Off the mark.
You know, his reputation is such that you'd be surprised with him missing any layup opportunity.
And he trains the 3, but let's see. They may need to review it. I'm not sure the ball was out of his hand in time. Well, we thought the third quarter was over, but it turns out the officials are going to review the play to see if he released the ball before the buzzer. Well, through digits, it may be difficult to overcome. A fantastic game for Rip Hamilton in this one.
Well, his play on defense has been a huge factor for this club, coming after steal after steal.
Yeah, and as we go into the fourth quarter, Steve, he's got to continue to be aggressive defensively to keep ball handlers off balance. Apply that pressure, make them uncomfortable.
Bulls lead by 18. So with LeBron on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. They've got Chalmers. Chris Bosh is out there with Mike Miller. Then there's Joel Anthony, and it's Battier in at the 2 spot. Noah dishes to Dang, and it's Miller picking him up. Great ball movement with the fadeaway.
The turnover difference hasn't been in their favor, but you know what? It hasn't really slowed them down too much. I like the fact they're staying aggressive here.
Richard Hamilton on the wing, covered by Miller.
Another fast break move. They're just outrunning their opponent here.
You know what, Steve? I think the defense has left themselves vulnerable, and they're learning the hard way that speed definitely kills.
Here's Boozer, and that one drops.
Exactly. When you surrender the ball like that, you put your defense at a huge disadvantage.
Timeout called.
You knew the big 3 when they came together, guys, that they would be good. But they did a pretty decent job, I thought, of finding complementary players to fill out the roster after a big chunk of the salary went to the big 3.
Catching up on the changes with Miami. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Joel Anthony. LeBron comes in for Mike Miller. And Dwayne Wade is subbed in for Shane Battier. So back to the Heat, and Clark, you're right. They searched out vets that knew how to fill a role and a need and really build a team around the stars.
Well, and that's critical because anytime you have the core group together, it's about finding role players who are going to accept their responsibilities on the team and accept the fact that sometimes they're not going to see the minutes that they would otherwise like. But they handled it well. They got a good roster around their stars, and it paid off.
Chalmers is tagged with the reach. That's his 3rd foul of the game. Kick out to Hamilton.
We've seen him now give away 4 possessions. Got to squeeze the orange out there. Take care of the ball.
Aggressive transition game leads to the easy hoop.
Yeah, I love to see these guys just trampolining to the hoop.
And that one's good. And the Bulls lead by 21. So it's Miami now. LeBron kicks to Bosh. Back to LeBron. He's picked up by Dang. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
You know, you go back to the finals, and I think Bosh certainly was a factor on the floor. He didn't have the best shooting percentage, but he got better as that series wore on.
And And so Bosh nails both of them.
Well, going back to Bosh, guys, in the finals, he was inconsistent with his shooting percentage, but he had stretches where he was really good. And he hit that game-winning shot in Game 3. I thought he was overall pretty solid for the Heat last season in the playoffs.
Taking a switch here to the Bulls. Korver's checked in. Three-pointer. Second shot opportunity. And Boozer puts it in. Boozer's got 6 points in the quarter.
Well, they've built a big lead here so far, and a lot of it has to do with how well they've been rebounding.
Yeah, every time they make a stop, they're securing the rebound, and that's really allowed them to get out to this lead.
And here's the fast break. Lobs the alley-oop pass. Oh, and a nice defensive play to interrupt the alley-oop. LeBron passes to Wade. A slam dunk by Wade.
Slamming it home off the alley-oop. Remarkable.
Well, his eyes got wide as he went up for that one.
And he timed his leap perfectly to meet the pass at the top of its arc.
Here's LeBron. With the lead pass. Haslett. Good, and the assist goes to LeBron. LeBron's now got 3 assists in the game. Deflected. It's stolen by Haslam. Up with it. That's good from Wade on the assist by Haslam. Haslam's got 3 assists now in this one. From 11 feet away. No good from Hamilton. The Heat trail by 17. Launches it. The offensive rebound. Chalmers dishes to LeBron. And a miss there on the triple.
He just couldn't shake loose. He had the defender draped all over him.
Dang with the bucket. And the Bulls lead by 19.
Nice offensive play there, and this one's pretty much in the books.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? It was a very good showing from them to come away with the win. I was very impressed.
Mike Miller's checked in for the Heat. We've got 1:18 left in the game. James. Got it. Good job in the low post. LeBron's now got 38 points.
He has not lost his focus today. Even when things haven't gone his team's way, he's still bringing it.
He got a little room at the rim and laid it in. Great play.
Goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
Good job there. No hesitation taking the ball right to the rack.
You know what, guys? Always the best plan in that situation.
The three from Korver. Gets it to go.
I think that may do it here. They're trying to put the nail in the coffin.
Well, just adding to the lead as we approach the final buzzer.
He was right there, but the defensive pressure forced that miss.
Well contested. That really made it a tough shot.
Off target from outside. And here's Miami. LeBron kicks to Wade. The shot is off.
So hard not to go for it when you see that chance at the alley-oop.
Bet he wishes he hadn't, though.
Looks like it's over. Double-digit margin, clock running down. Just take care of the ball now.